Assalamualaikum and good evening to our lecturer Encik Zaki Othman and our fellow friends. Today we're gonna present about seminar of accounting for trade payable, provision and contingent liabilities.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nakim Abdi Jasrizam. My matric number is 03D8020L1082.
Good evening to my lecturer and my fellow friends. My name is Suchintra Porpai, anak perempuan Cirawut. My last 4 metric number is 1049. Today, I'm going to present about provision.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Siti Nur Syahidah binti Syuami. My matrix number is 03D802061. Today I would like to present about contingent liability and contingent asset.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wana Mashita Sasabila binti Muhammad Hashim. My number matrix 03D80 20F 1085. Today I would like to present about trade payable. 1. A company for a person provide goods or service by credit term. 2. Unlimited cash to rolling the business. 3. Increase sale or profit. 4. Long-term business. That's all.
So, what is provision? Provision is the setting aside of income that known as probable future liability, or we can say that it is a probable future loss. Provision is the amount which cannot be determined, thus we can say it is as estimate. Second, provision is classified as liability because it presents obligation as a result of past event. Provision can be settled through future outflow of profit from an entity or a company. In this provision, have two obligations, that is, legal and constructive obligation. For example of legal obligation are contract, legislation, and other operating law. For the example of constructive obligation is the first one, entity action through an established pattern. The second one is published policy. The third example of constructive obligation is specific current statement. Now we are in the last part of provision. For provision, it can call as a future expenses based on assessment experience. For the example of provision is the first one, provision for taxation, bad debt, and the last one we normally hear in our financial statement is provision for doubtful debt. Next, I'm going to invite my friend Shahida to present her presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Suchintra. Now I will present about contingent liability. What is contingent liability? Contingent liability is a possible obligation depending on whether some uncertain future event can occur. At present obligation, but payment is not probable or the amount cannot be measured reliably, and it is not totally controlled by the entity or company. For example, product warranty. Second, bank guarantee. Third, lawsuit copy patent or idea. And lastly, pending investigation. Next, what is contingent asset? Contingent asset is a possible asset happening from the past event. It is depending on whether some uncertain future event. Contingent asset also known as contingent gain inflow. Contingent asset also not totally controlled by the entity or the company. And lastly, the example for contingent asset first is refund for the government in tax dispute, and second, receipt of money from donation. Now I will pass to Nur Hakimah to present about next slide. Thank you.
So I'm going to continue this presentation with explanation on contingent liability for question B. So here we have three types of contingents. The first one is the possible, and the second one is remote, and third one is probable. So the probable is we can estimate it. Yes, when the company get a lawsuit by another company for a certain reason, and when it said that the amount of the lawsuit can be estimated, so the contingent liability for the company is estimable and it will classify as probable. When the probable, we can record it as liability, and the chance of contingency is more than 50%. The second one is possible. The possible is not estimable, which is a company make an assumption that the contingent liability for his company cannot be paid the amount. We cannot know how much that the company will pay the amount, and which means we cannot record it in the books, and we have to make a disclosure or footnotes in the financial statement, and it's because the chances of contingency is less than 15%. Okay, so that is possible for the type of possible contingency liability for possible type. Okay, the lastly, remote is a minimal chance of occurring and non-possible that we cannot record in books or footnotes, which means we do not know how many chances that the things that could occur, and is different from probable and possible, which we actually have. We can know the chances of that thing, the liability can become a contingency or not. But in this case, in remote, we cannot know which is it can be a contingency or it just a liability. So because the liability have two types, contingent liability and liability current and non-current. So in the remote cases, we do not know how many chance that the contingency for this type of liability. Okay, so we are going to continue with the next slide. For the solution for question C, according to the question C, that the company was sued for its patent infringement on October 2019, and the legal advisor for the company said that the company would probable to lose the case, and the estimated amount of damages is 300,000 ringgit. So the question is how we are going to report this in financial statement. So the first one is, according to the slide, we are going to open the general account for damages, and we are going to debit the damages expenses and credit the estimated damages, and we post it in Sochi under the account expenses. We write it as the damages expenses 300,000 ringgit, and we post it in the extra Shopee under the account liability estimated damages 300,000 ringgit. So we report it as liability, as I said before. If the contingent liability is probable and estimable, we have to record it as liability. If it was not estimable and it was not probable, then we have to disclose it and did not have to record in the book, or did not have to record in the Shopee, did not have to mention it. But in the probable, we have to mention it as it was can be estimate. But if not cannot be estimate, we don't have to mention it in Shopee, but just make a footnotes or make a disclosure for the lawsuit for these damages, right? Okay, so thank you, that's all for me.
That's all from us. Thank you.